So you're thinking about adding Facebook ads to your traffic mix in order to scale your e-commerce business? Well, then make sure to watch this video, because in this video, I'm going to talk about the 5 things that you need to think about and that you need to know before running Facebook ads for your e-commerce business. So without any further ado, let's hop straight into the video. Hey ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to another video here on my channel. And today we're going to go through my checklist that I ask e-commerce brands before considering whether they should be running Facebook ads or not. Okay. Nowadays, I'm working on the brand side. However, I used to run a performance marketing agency to scale e-commerce brands with the help of Facebook ads. And, usually when it came to then considering or evaluating whether this particular brand should be running Facebook ads in the first place, I usually ask those 5 questions. So let's hop straight into it. Question number 1 that you should be asking yourself before starting to run Facebook ads or even considering scaling your business with Facebook ads is genuinely asking yourself, okay, what stage is my business at right now? Am I a 6-figure brand? Am I a 7-figure brand? Am I just starting out and trying to get some product market proof, right? What are my growth expectations for the next year or, for Facebook's ad platform in general, So therefore, the first thing that you want to ask yourself, okay, will I use Facebook ads and its advertising network as a scaling or as a testing tool? And usually if you're below 6 figures in revenue as an e-commerce brand and yearly revenue as an e-commerce brand, then Facebook ads will be a testing tool. It can be a testing tool for many things. It can be a testing tool for a product market fit, for a market, to establish or to understand whether there is a really proper market for that in the first place, and also to better, or fine tune your messaging and your angles for your particular, product or brand. So this is for the first part, the 6-figure brands. For the 7-figure brands or for the brands that are making anywhere between 200,000 plus in yearly revenue, they are in the perfect range to really go ahead and establish and implement Facebook ads in order to scale their business and scale their already kind of existing business framework, right? However, it is really important to distinguish the two, because your growth expectations as well as the expectations in terms of the returns that you will get from Facebook are really different here. When you use Facebook as a testing tool, meaning you just started out with your brand and you want to understand better how your customers are actually engaging with your brand or whether there's an actual product market fit, then you will use Facebook as a testing tool, and probably the profitability that will come out of that advertising spend will not really be super high, if any, if there's any. On the other hand, the scaling part, when you use Facebook as a scaling tool, obviously profitability is in the front and center there, and you should always make sure that you do actually have a profitability, or that your advertising, that your advertising investments or the money that you spend in those Facebook ads actually yields a profitable return on your investment. So having point number 1 figured out, okay, by now where you are at with your business. Do you want to use Facebook as a testing, or can you use Facebook only as a testing tool, or will you use it as a scaling tool? And this kind of then leads into the second point, which is, do you know and genuinely understand the people that buy or are interested in buying with your product? And then also, do you understand how to properly craft copy and messaging angles according, to those USPs that are attractive to those different customers or prospects? What do I mean with that? So a lot of brands that I have worked with in the past, or that I've generally talked to, they're making good revenue numbers, meaning they could take that they fall into that bucket of brands that you would use Facebook ads as a scaling tool, not as a testing tool, but they have still not really genuinely understood their buyer persona, why actually people are buying with them and not their competitor, or really understand what are different objections that might arise in the customer journey of their particular buyer persona. So those are all things that you want to figure out when it comes to starting to run Facebook ads prior to launching your first Facebook Facebook ads and prior, to creating your first ad creative. The reason being is that Facebook is not a magic box or a black box where, you just throw in things and then you just need to have like some kind of magic combination that will scale your business. Ultimately, the best thing that you can do in order to win your Facebook ads and to have a really good kickoff is to genuinely understand your customer and understand why people are purchasing with you, so you can craft good ad copy to attract more people that actually face the same problem or the same end result. So those were the first 2 points that were more from the messaging or customer kind of end. Now let's go into the nitty-gritty numbers, right? Because when you start running Facebook ads, it doesn't matter whether you want to use it as a testing or as a scaling tool, but especially when you use it as a scaling tool and really aim for high profitability and growth expectations, you want to make sure that you really understand your gross margins and your unit economics, meaning how much can you pay to profitably acquire a new customer. Okay. So many brands out there do only have a vague understanding of how much they can actually pay to acquire a new customer through a paid marketing channel like Facebook. Really understanding their LTV, really understanding their gross margins, their different SKU margins, and really properly understanding what are the different offers that they should run in order to get the best outcome for their, or the best bang for their buck. And also really understand how much they can, as I said, pay in the first place. This is something that so many brands haven't really figured out when they start, spending money on Facebook. They just think, okay, we'll kind of start spending money on Facebook and see what we can get and see what results we can, we see, and then we can kind of figure everything out afterwards. But that is actually the wrong approach to Facebook ads, or in my opinion, to any kind of paid marketing efforts. You want to go ahead, start with the end in mind and work backwards, meaning, okay, what is your average order value? What are your gross margins? What are your different processing fees? What are your different shipping fees? And then you will get to what is called your gross margin. And then you will be able to think about, okay, those are my variable costs. What are, for example, my OPEX as well, if you want, when you kind of include them to a certain degree. And then you kind of will work backwards from your desired end result to, to the amount of money that you can actually pay Facebook to get a purchase for you. So that is the third thing that a lot of brands just miss out on or do not really think about in the first place, which is, what are my gross margins? What are my growth expectations? And what is good for me in particular as a brand? So point number 4 is, what is happening with your backend, right? A lot of brands, especially when it comes to that first phase that we talked about, where they try to use Facebook to first verify their market or better understand their customers. Usually, those type of brands do not really have a solid backend in place, and obviously, you will then have that kind of dilemma. Okay, you as a business owner or as a brand, you want to first get some revenue in, some data in order to better build your backend, better optimize your other growth initiatives, yada yada yada. However, long story short, especially nowadays in 2023, it just, won't really yield profitable returns if you only drop Facebook ad traffic off your PDP, of your product page, if you do not have a significantly, innovative or advanced product that really provides some kind of, or like solution to some kind of problem in the marketplace, right? So you really want to make sure that you are able to, pour in water, not into a bucket that has leaky holes, but that actually is a bucket that kind of, can hold that water and can actually generate, revenue from that increased brand awareness that you will get through Facebook ads. So make sure that you have your backend in place. Make sure that you have your email flows, core email flows in place. Make sure that you have a good conversion rate. I would almost recommend any brand out there that before starting to run Facebook ads, to get a CRO, a conversion rate audit done by any type of freelancer or agency, which probably will cost them around $500 to $1,000, but this will definitely make up for the money that you will, for the additional revenue that you will get when then, increasing your traffic onto your website. So make sure that you have your backend in place and don't pour water into a leaky bucket, which will ultimately then cost you a lot more money and will risk your growth opportunities. Okay, last but not least, and this is something that always kind of really surprises me, because in my opinion, that is something super, super straightforward. And that is that, you need to have a content pipeline in place that is agile and scalable, right? for Facebook ads, creative is king nowadays. It doesn't really come down to the media buying practices or audience targeting anymore, but at like how well are you at actually messaging your target audience and creating content and creative that converts. Meaning you need to make sure that you do have a content pipeline in place, either with content collaborators, either with some kind of, ability to shoot and make photo shoots on a low cost basis, probably like especially on when you're still kind of on the lower end of that spectrum, of that revenue spectrum or that growth spectrum for e-commerce brands. So, but you need to make sure that before you really start going ahead and thinking about Facebook ads, that, okay, what is the best case scenario? And that is, okay, Facebook ads work great for us. We acquire new customers at our desired CAC. And, then where you go from there? Then you probably first have to kind of really row back and think about, okay, how do we get new content? How do we actually figure out UGC? How do we figure out actually working and collaborating with content creators? And all that will not only cost time, but also most likely, will then also lead to a lot of brands not actually winning with Facebook ads in the first place, because they have not really understood what it means to create a good ad creative with the help of content collaborations, yada, yada, yada. Okay, so that's the fifth point, right? Make sure that you have a good content pipeline in place. This could mean many things for your business. This could mean working with content collaborators. This would mean that you have some kind of in-house production team available and ready to go and working on different angles and different content as you see the performance coming in. This could also mean working maybe with some form of an agency, right? Could mean a lot of things for you, but the only thing that I am telling you right now is that you need to make sure that you have thought about that before starting Facebook ads. So, and that is pretty much already it, right? Those are the 5 points that you should think about and that should serve you as a checklist before starting to run Facebook ads. And that is, first of all, think about, okay, where's my business at? What are my growth expectations for implementing Facebook ads as a growth channel or as a paid media marketing channel into my business? Secondly, do you know what your product is really all about and why your customers are buying with you and not, your competitor or a cheaper option? Then talking about competitors and cheaper options, what are your gross margins? Is it actually viable for you to run Facebook ads with your current unit economics, or do you first have to really build out an offer or think about something new like a kit or a bundle that you can run on Facebook that will have a higher likelihood of actually succeeding with those unit economics? Then, fourth is, what is your backend? How is your backend looking like? Do you have different email, like the different core email flows in place that actually, will convert, that increased brand awareness into conversions? And last but not least, before starting to run Facebook ads, because obviously you are going to have to create creatives that are converting your prospects into loyal customers, you need to have a content pipeline in place. You need to be able to work with content creators. You need to be able to create and design converting Facebook ads and be able to source content that is socially native as well as can be agile enough to actually follow the performance. So that's pretty much it. If you want to know more about e-commerce growth and those neat checklists that I've, for example, just talked about, then, every Thursday there comes a new YouTube video of me talking about those, really fun and cool things that help you to hopefully grow your e-commerce brand with the help of Facebook ads and paid marketing in general. So make sure to hit the subscribe button if you want to learn more about that. And if you thought that, all the things that I just talked about in the last 10 minutes were in any form helpful to you, then I would also appreciate the thumbs up right below this video. Either way, thanks for watching. I really appreciate your time and talk to you soon.